Welcome everybody to our first Q1 quarterly welcome and onboarding call. We are hosting these quarterly now because, I was just telling Amy before we jumped on, it's like, I know what I offer. Everything is crystal clear in my head, but then I have to remember to tell people what I offer. And I have to remember that, not everybody is as involved in my business as I am. So it's just a good way to sort of make sure that, everybody knows, what we have, and I want to make sure that everybody knows where to look for things and have no problems accessing any of the content or anything like that. So I'm going to share my screen here. Let me pull up. I have a presentation to help everything sort of move smoothly. Let me just share my screen. Here we go. If you can all just give me sort of a thumbs up when you see this. I'm going to have to push this into a bigger mode though. Amy, is it big enough or should I make it even bigger? What do you think?
I think it's good.
Maybe like that? Yeah, I want to make sure everybody can see it. And I will actually normally I don't record these calls, but we had so many people you know that wanted to jump on but couldn't be here today. So I'm actually going to record this for today. So the review will be available. And if you need the slides, we're happy to give you the slides as well. So no worries about taking notes or anything like that. Basically, the reason we do these onboarding calls is because we have three different types of students in our community, or prospective students. We have eager beavers. These are the people who are super excited. They jump in and they're so happy to get started and they move through everything fast, but it can get a little overwhelming when you're taking so much information in at the same time, right? And sometimes the learning doesn't always stick because everything goes so fast. And then we have our time tamers. These are our lovely students that enroll, but then kind of jump in and out over time in the courses because of seasonality or, life changes or different priorities or whatever. And sometimes we hear that feel a little guilty about like, oh, I haven't been on a call in forever, or like, I feel behind. I'm not sure if I'm keeping up and all of that. And we don't want that to be a thing because if you are trying to learn something, we don't want there to be necessarily a time crunch for you that you're feeling like that. And we want to make sure that everybody who is in our student community can actually come in. If you need to take a break, you can come in and actually pick up where you left off. So if you're a time tamer, no worries at all. It's actually perfect that you're here because this is how we get back into the swing of things, right? So if you take a break, for example, from one of our courses for whatever reason, and then 6 months later you decide, oh, actually, I want to get started again, we recommend that you jump on one of these calls and then just sort of get your bearings and come back into it. And then, of course, we have the potential students, everybody who's new, who hasn't enrolled in anything yet, who's just maybe interested or have questions about what we offer and how it can help. Sometimes they don't always reach out because they feel like they might bother us with questions if they're not quite ready, not sure what's for them and all that. So we want to make sure that we address everybody's concerns in one sort of no pressure, happy group chat. And, you can ask all the questions that you have and get everything sorted out. So that's why we do these calls. So we're going to have this one today, and then we have one a little later in the spring, and then one in the fall, one in the winter, so quarterly. So we have a big agenda, but we're going to talk about, meeting us as the coaches, and we're going to talk about the offers that we have. Then we're going to talk about the academy, our community on Circle, as well as learning and our roadmaps. So let's start with the coaches. You all know me, hopefully. If not, I'm Caroline. So I am a certified photo organizer, a professional organizer. I'm a 10-year Golden Circle member of NAPO, which is the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals. I'm also an advisory board member to the photo managers and a masterclass coach for them. So I do a lot of organizing and productivity and all of that, and I do that every day. I teach digital organizing, systems and operations, and business development, personal knowledge management, productivity, project management, and all that good stuff. And I was born and raised in Sweden, so that's why I'm known as the Swedish organizer. Amy, do you want to jump on and just say hi?
Yeah,
Amy's here today.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm Amy. I'm assisting Caroline, and I also have my own business as well, doing digital asset management and personal knowledge management, which are just fancy ways of saying I just help people sort out all of their digital files and information, and putting together a course called Organize Your Mac Like a Rock Star, because I'm also a musician. So kind of blending all of my worlds together in one thing.
Yeah. And I can't remember how long it's been now, but we worked together now for probably 5 years or more. It's
Oh,
been a
yeah, at
while.
least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
that's right. Yeah.
yeah, it's been great. So Amy is one of the senior coaches in my company. You've seen her probably on a lot of our workshops and our course, coaching calls and all of that. So she's my trusty sidekick, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Then we have Dragana. Dragana's not here today because she is on maternity leave. She had a beautiful baby boy in December, and we're so happy for her. But she does live event support for us, and she's an amazing actress. So if you're ever in Macedonia, you head over to the Wonderland Theater and catch one of her shows because she is absolutely brilliant. And then, of course, we have Sherry Lukey, who's not here today, but Sherry's an executive coach that I collaborate with quite frequently. So I wanted to make sure I introduce her to you. She is a global EFT tapping practitioner, which again is a fancy way for saying that she helps people get through limiting beliefs and helps people basically up level and get to the next level. And she's over in Western Canada with her family. And one of the reasons that I invited Sherry to collaborate with me is because, I'm the strategy person, right? But when we get into sort of more of the advanced business project management and more of the advanced entrepreneurial offers that we have, then there tends to be a lot of limiting beliefs that come up for people. And what happens is no matter how many strategies I give, it's not really going to sink in or get anywhere if that stands in your way, if there are subconscious beliefs, that are holding you back. So I realized that we needed extra support there, and so that is why you'll see Sherry in some of our more advanced business programs. And you can find her at sherrylukey.com. I'll make sure that you have that link as well. She's absolutely amazing. I mean, world class, and we're so, so, so excited to have her. So let's just quickly mention too our websites, because you may have found me or come across me in different ways, because I'm all over the place. I love getting out, networking, meeting people, and being in different communities and all of that. My main website is theswedishorganizer.com. Some of you may have found me through my photo organizing blog, which is organizingphotos.net. And originally, I was just going to have everything in one place. But what happened was, when you get into photo organizing and talk about that, you realize just what a deep niche it is. It sounds like a tiny niche. It is not. It is a vast, vast, vast niche. And there was just so much to talk about that I felt like it needed its own little blog. So I have had organizing photos now for probably close to 10 years. And that is where I blog strictly on everything that comes across in terms of researching and cataloging your images and your photos and your family history and all of that. But all of our offers are actually available through our main website, which is theswedishorganizer.com. So if you've never maybe seen that website, that might be interesting for you to bookmark. And let me also share all of the offers that we have so that you know basically what we do. The first course that we have, which I actually encourage everybody to take, is called the Organizing Formula. This is a free course that I offer. It's a mini primer on how to organize sort of on a broad sense, like how organizing works. And it's geared towards physical messes, but also towards setting up systems. So it's a really good primer for you to understand the basics of organization, the foundation, and sort of understand how systems work and get your systems thinking cap on. So it's actually a really good primer. Just if you're getting, into this field as a beginner, or if you just have no experience with systems, it's a really good primer for any of our courses. And since it is free, make sure you take advantage. It's on the Academy. So if you actually log into our Academy and you're on your dashboard there, if you click on all courses, you should be able to see and enroll there right just fine. It's also free on YouTube. So anybody who follows me on YouTube, you can just watch it there if you don't want to sign into the Academy. And the sales page is at theswedishorganizer.com/TOF for the organizing formula. The reason we have a sales page is because for 2025, we've introduced a small mini membership. So what happened is that we realized that a lot of folks had questions, and as much as I would love to support everybody forever at no charge, that's just not a business model that works. So we had to introduce, a small membership. So it's 19 a month currently for the upgraded experience of the organizing formula. And basically what that means is that you get access to the organizing formula section in our community, and you can ask for help with your organizing, home organizing projects there. And our coaches will jump in there and answer your questions. And you also get my little guide to micro goals and a few other bonuses like that. I do want to make a distinction though. This does not replace DPO Pro, which I'll get to in a moment. So if you're working on photo organizing, it's not a membership where we answer photo organizing questions specifically. This has to do with residential organizing and systems in general. So if you're on that track. So on to DPO Pro. As you know, DPO Pro, a lot of you are in that course. DPO stands for Digital Photo Organizing, and a pro is what we want you to become. So that's the name of the course. It is the course for anybody who wants to get their files and photos under control and organize them in a clear, consistent way so that you can do more with them and maybe have that archive. So that is now at the swedishorganizer.com/DPO Pro. And what's really exciting for this year is that on January 1st, we just released version 3. So all of those of you who were in DPO Pro before the end of the year, you are upgraded. There's no charge for that. You have version 3 now in your account. And if forever, for some reason you don't see version 3 in your account, just let me know and we'll take care of that for you. But you should all see it in your dashboard. And even if you were working through sort of version 2, I just recommend starting over with version 3. Not that version 2 isn't great, it is, but I think we've added some really cool things for version 3 that is going to help you learn even better. So I would just recommend that you jump in and kind of pick up where you left off on that version instead. Another thing that was really cool is that we partnered with the photo managers this year to offer DPO Pro as well through them. So we're going to have a lot of really cool budding professionals join us, and we're super excited for that. So yeah. It's been, I think, almost 10 years now. The 10-year anniversary of DPO Pro is coming up. It's been our, I think, best-selling course over all these years. And it's one of those ones that I'm always excited to teach. Then we also have something called the Bookend Approach. That's a mini course as well. It is for entrepreneurs specifically to learn how to create a consistent daily approach to their productivity and to learn how to increase sales and make progress towards business goals. And what I teach in that course is basically an opening and a closing routine to make the best use of liminal space that you have throughout your day so that you can have more clear boundaries between your personal and your business life, right? And actually make that transition from sort of a side hustle to an actual full-time business. That one is actually really quick to watch. I think it's only like 2 hours or 3 hours or so to get through it, and it's only $47 to join it. So a very good investment. We also have quarterly planning. Again, this is for anybody who wants to join us because everybody needs to plan, but we do have a heavy influx of entrepreneurs there. So for anybody who is an entrepreneur, we really recommend that you participate in that. It is a 3-hour live session via Zoom once a quarter, and it's billed as a subscription, where basically you log on and I talk you through and help you actually plan in real time what you're going to be focused on for the next 3 months. So it's a great investment of time. We find that a lot of people can do quarterly planning on their own, but it's actually so much more fun to do it in a group setting. So if you're an entrepreneur anywhere in the world working on your business, you're free to join us on one of those calls. And the next one is going to be March 14th. So that's going to be for Q2. Sometimes I get the question of, I don't have a business, but I really love planning. Can I join? Absolutely. Anybody can join, and you can actually work on your own personal goals too. It's just know that it's geared slightly more towards entrepreneurs. All right. And then the next step up from there is Creative Systems Architect. We can kind of think about this as a counterpart to DPO Pro, but this is for anybody who wants to learn how to set up systems and operations in their business. So as entrepreneurs, you can get to a certain level, usually about 6 figures or so, and then you start hitting a wall because you're starting to run out of time, you're starting to get overworked, you're starting to feel sort of the pinch of like, I can't quite keep up and there's too much happening. So in order to sort of get past that speed bump, it's really, really important that we have proper systems and operations and we understand how the business runs. So this is geared towards CEOs, leaders, entrepreneurs, anybody who really needs to sort of make that a thing this year, you know? And with that, we do monthly group coaching, excuse me, just like we do in DPO Pro, so you can get your questions answered. And then a step up from there, once you've sort of gone through Creative Systems Architect, we recommend going into Mindful Monday Mapping. That is our year-long program for entrepreneurs as well, who want to understand, now that I have all these systems and operations in place, how do I create a shorter work week? How do I leverage my time? How do I manage my projects without burnout, you know, and sacrificing sort of my well-being? And what's really cool about MMM is that if you actually jump in, that's like our umbrella flagship. So it includes everything underneath it. So let's say you were to join MMM, you would also get the bookend approach, quarterly planning, and creative systems architect into one, because we don't want to penalize anybody who jumps in, you know, and at the highest level. And then, you know, feel like, oh, there's all these sort of prerequisites to get to that. No, if you jump in at the highest level, you get everything that flows underneath it. So you can always work your way up as you're progressing in your business, or you can jump in at the highest tier, get everything included, and work your way from there. So that's how we have that set up. So it's maybe slightly confusing. Let me know if you have questions on any of that, but that's how it's set up. I also want to mention Searching Sweden. So for over 10 years, I had genealogy services available in my business, and obviously I am Swedish. Genealogy was my specialty, and I released a course some years ago called Searching Sweden, Finding Your Ancestors in Online Archives. That course is still available for sale. So if you have any ounce of Swedish heritage, you are welcome to enroll in that. We have a self-study option and a VIP version that just includes a few more resources. You can find that at searchingsweden.com. What we basically discontinued was the group coaching in that program, but the course itself is still available. Everything is still relevant, it's still current, and if I have to say it, probably, apart maybe from DPO Pro, probably the best course I've ever written. So if you have, you know, any interest in Swedish genealogy as well, make sure you take a look at that one, or recommend it to a friend who's interested in learning that. You do not need to know fluent Swedish to research. We saw that, Amy. Remember, we had so many success stories there. You do not have to learn Swedish at all. You can research just fine if you just know exactly what to look for, and that's what we teach. So yeah, so that's a thing that I haven't really talked about in a while because I'm not really actively promoting it anymore, but I did want to let you know that that is still available. We also have workshops and special events every now and then. If you go to your Academy account and you click on all courses, you should see everything listed there. I also have a list of all the workshops on my main website at theswedishorganizer.com/workshops. If you are eligible for anything, you are auto-enrolled, so there's no need. Whatever you see in your account, if you're eligible to participate at no charge, you are enrolled. Otherwise, you're welcome to buy it at an additional cost. They're usually not super expensive. So sometimes there are special interest workshops like our metadata for genealogy one that's still super relevant for a lot of folks, and it's a very popular one. So a lot of people add that on, but they're not going to be as expensive as our bigger courses. They're just going to be smaller ones. And we have set a date for DPO Flow 2025. So that's going to come in, was it, Amy, was it July? I think end of July or early August, right? Early August, probably, yeah. That we make a note for me to thank you to remind people about that too. That's going to be at no charge as well for this year. Finally, I want to mention that we do have private coaching. So every now and then we get that question like, hey, do you coach one-on-one? Yes, we do. I do it. Amy can do it. And Sherry can do it as well. That's obviously at a different cost. It's at a different, more customized level. But we do have that available as well for anybody who needs a little, you know, private help or don't feel comfortable, you know, working in a group setting. New for 2025 is now we have a referral program that is brand new this year. So you have now in your academy as well a refer a friend tab for any course that you see there. So what you can do is if you have somebody that you want to invite, if there's somebody that you can think of that would be, you know, a great addition to one of our courses or somebody who would enjoy any of our content, make sure that you copy that code and share that link. And that way they get 20% off their purchase when they enroll, and then you get 20% off your next purchase, and you can redeem that towards anything that we have. So that's a really good way to sort of bring the cost down on both ends there. All right, let me mention our flow chart. I'm actually oddly proud of this flow chart because I designed it myself. So if you go on my website and go to the swedishorganizer.com/flowchart, what you can do is, if you're ever confused about, well, what course should I take? What direction should I go in? We have that flow chart for you to figure out, what the right approach is. So it basically walks you through and helps you just answer the questions, and you just follow the tree down and you'll see which course is right for you. You can always contact me, of course, as well, and get my input. But if you're ever, thinking of somebody else perhaps, or you're feeling insecure or can't quite make the right decision, then feel free to look at that as well. All right, so those were our offers. Let me move on. One thing that I really want to make sure that we are set up with is our emails here. The first thing I want you to do is make sure that you have our email address, in your contacts list, because every now and then they go to spam. And we want to make sure that, you're getting our communication if you're enrolled. If something has ended up in spam ever, just drag it to the inbox and it should fix that issue. Or you can just go in and to your contacts and add our emails there. So there's 3 emails to note. Hello at the Swedish Organizer. That's sort of, we use that for general inquiries about enrolling in any of our courses. It's just a simple one for especially prospective students to use, or for anybody who's not sort of in our orbit. And then my personal one, if you have a private matter, or if you want to make an introduction, or if you have something that's just sensitive that we can't talk about, with support or anything like that, make sure you email me privately, Caroline at theswedishorganizer.com. And then, of course, when you are an enrolled student, if you need help getting, onboarding into your Academy account, or if there's, a membership question or a billing question, anything like that, support at theswedishorganizer.com is really good to use. That's sort of the quickest way to get to it. And if you're interested as well, you can subscribe. I have a monthly newsletter called Creating Space. That's at theswedishorganizer.com. I don't do a newsletter anymore for organizingphotos.net because there's so much content anyway. So we found that a lot of folks were getting overwhelmed with that. So now I just do a monthly one at creating at the Swedish Organizer called Creating Space. So you're welcome to subscribe to that. It is slightly targeted more towards business owners, but anybody is welcome. All right, so let's talk about the Academy. Our Academy is hosted on Teachable. We love Teachable. I've been with them for over 10 years now, back when they were Fedora. They've gone through a lot of changes, and I just love being with them, so I'm still with them. But our Academy URL has changed this year. So now it is academy.theswedishorganizer.com. That's the biggest change that we've made this year. It used to be coursesbycaroline.com, and that was sort of a placeholder. And it's still going to work, that URL, until the end of March. But after that, that one is no longer going to work at all. So we definitely want you to bookmark the new one. And hopefully it's a little easier to remember this new one too. That's why we, implemented it. We wanted to streamline it a little bit more. Make sure you have a note of that somewhere so you don't miss out. And I want to mention too that Teachable has a mobile app. So I don't have, for my business, an app per se, but since we are hosted on Teachable, you can actually download the app. So if you have the need to be on the go and you want to watch our courses, you can actually do that through the Teachable app. So you can get that on your iPad or on your phone or whatever, download it from the App Store, and use the same credentials, and that should get you into that account to be able to watch it on the go. I also want to mention navigation. So you can do a lot from your own account inside of the Academy. There are certain things that I actually can't see on my end. For example, your credit card information. If you have a credit card on file, I cannot see that. I don't have access to that information. So those are the things that you have to update on your own. But you can see, your profile, what you're a member of. You can manage your subscriptions or your payments from there. You can, like I said, update your credit card from there, look at your purchase history, change your address and contact information, all of that. And now we have that refer a friend as well. So just know that you have a lot of control in your own account, and you might not necessarily need to contact us in order to, for example, change or update a card or anything like that. That's something that is easier for you to do on your own. I recommend that you click on Edit Profile. If you haven't already been in there and sort of, tinkered around with that, click on Edit Profile and go in and turn on notifications. Because what happens is, a lot of the time by default, when somebody signs up for our courses, they are opted out of getting communication from us. And, with privacy laws and all of that stuff, it's hard for us to turn on that stuff for you. It's something that you have to opt into. So if you don't, then you might miss communication that's coming from us. And we want to make sure that you get all the communication if you want it, of course. So make sure that you turn on notifications if you're okay with that, so that when I send out an email from the Academy or whatever, or like a new link or any emergency information, anything like that, that you actually get that information. Same here with like the address. We had an issue recently with somebody's address didn't match their card or whatever, and that created an issue. I wasn't able to solve that because I didn't have access to their card information. So again, make sure that every now and then, just like you would with any other subscriptions that you might have, that you go in and make sure all your information is correct for billing and memberships and all of that. Refer a friend. I've already talked about that. We love, 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 love when you refer a friend, especially when you get a little discount. And if you want to see sort of what we offer, it's hard to remember all these courses and workshops and what they're all about. You have the option in the Academy to click on My Courses versus All Courses. So I just want to clarify, when you click on My Courses, that shows you everything that you have purchased, okay, that you have access to, and everything that you are enrolled in currently. If you click on All Courses, that shows you everything that's available in the Academy, regardless of whether or not you have enrolled, right? So let's say that you want to refer a friend to a workshop and you are not enrolled in it, you would find it under All Courses. So that's how that works. For those of you who are enrolled in courses like DPO Pro, Creative Systems Architect, Mindful Monday Mapping, any course where we have monthly group coaching, then you're going to see a section in your Academy that says coaching calls and events, or upcoming calls and events. And that is where you're going to find the meeting links for all of these upcoming calls. And then what you do is just click on the date, and that's where your meeting information is going to be. And then afterwards, after that call is over, that's where I upload the replay. Okay, so you'll click on that same date and you'll be able to see the replay for that call if you missed it for whatever reason. And that's also where I put all the timestamps and all of that. So that's how you get to that. You should see a section for each course with the same name, but then upcoming calls. And we keep that, separately in a section like that, because otherwise the curriculum would be like a mile long with all the calls that we host. And we want to make sure that we keep the curriculum intact and then all the calls separately. So let's talk also community. We have a community which is hosted on Circle. Some of you may remember that I said at the end of the year, we were having some issues with the platform through no fault of their own. It's just an integration thing. But I was toying with the idea of moving it. I have decided not to move it. It would be far too much work, I think. And I think what we have managed to do now that we've updated everything and the integrations and the URLs is I think I've managed to solve most of the issues that we were having. It was the SSL security issues that were giving us trouble. So I'm still on Circle now. We're still on Circle for all of our communities there. And we really would love for you to be on there as well, so that you can talk to us in between calls. And the direct URL now is different, right? So it used to be, again, courses by Caroline and all that. Now, starting in January, it's community.theswedishorganizer.com. So make sure that you bookmark that URL. That is the new URL. What we've tried to do is streamline everything, basically. And you can also get to it if you're in the Academy and you click on the Academy in the navigation, you should see a community there that should pop you right over. And of course, Circle also has an app. So you can actually, just like with Teachable, download the Circle app and log in, and you should be able to see it there. And that might be a good thing to do if you are a member of multiple Circle communities. I am, for example. So there are courses that I'm taking, for example, with friends that that have their own circle communities. So with that app, I can actually toggle between the communities. So that might be a good idea if you're participating in multiple courses. What's really important for you to know is that joining the community is optional. We do not automatically enroll you into that. Again, that's a privacy thing that we've decided on. So you have to opt in if you want to be in the community, okay? Otherwise, you are not enrolled in that. And there is going to be an invitation link in your onboarding emails or in the course that you are enrolled in that you click. And when you click that link, it sends a request to us. We approve that request, and then you'll be able to join the community from there, okay? So please allow us just 48 hours to make sure that we have, approved you and, onboarded you correctly, and then you can start using the community. But it's really important for you to know that that doesn't happen automatically. We need you to opt in. I already talked about that. The mobile app is there. It's called Circle Communities if you want to download that, and you would use it with the same credentials. We've had a few folks with trouble on Safari using the community. It seems to be a cache thing, and we're still working on figuring out what's going on there. But we recommend that you use Google Chrome or some other browser to access the community. Please, please, please let us know if you at any point have trouble accessing the community, because I'm actively troubleshooting and making sure everybody's properly onboarded. So any issues at all that you come across with either on Teachable or on Circle, please let me know immediately, and we'll take care of that. When you are in the community, right, you're going to see the navigation on the left side, and you're going to see that you have different sections there. Usually there is one for each course that you're enrolled in. And that is to make it a little easier so that you don't see sections for courses that you are not enrolled in. So if you are enrolled in DPO Pro, you're going to see our welcome section for everybody, and you're going to see DPO Pro. If you're enrolled in DPO Pro and CSA, you're going to see the sections for those two courses, right? Does that make sense? So it's like whatever you're enrolled in, you're going to see the corresponding sections so that you're not confused about every, other course that you're not enrolled in. So that's how that works. We have community rules and guidelines. They're pretty self-explanatory, so I don't have to go over them. They're pinned to the sidebar, but make sure that you review those before you post. We also have a community overview video that should be pinned up there. So if you need to, learn how to navigate it a little bit better, feel free to watch that video. I'm going to update that video shortly as well, but for now, it's still fairly accurate. New for 2025 is we have a complete events tab. So in the past, what we've had is we've had just the sections for each course with upcoming calls for each sections. That's still there, but what it does is it funnels into a main events tab. So if you actually look at the community and you look at the top navigation and you click on events now, you can see all events. So it's just an easier way for you to RSVP, okay? If you're enrolled, especially in multiple courses, and just easier for you to see what's coming up, like one of these onboarding calls, for example, right? Just make sure that you keep an eye on that. And what we want you to do is to RSVP to as many events as you can possibly think of coming to, because we don't get upset if you don't show up. This is for you to get auto reminders. I try really, really hard to keep down on email clutter in my business. Obviously, I'm an organizer. I don't want to add to email clutter for people, but I also don't want people to miss out. So if you go to the events tab and you click on the drop down there, excuse me, you can set it to going or not going, and feel free to RSVP to as much as you want. If you can't attend, not a big thing, not a problem at all. Okay. But what it does is it puts you on the auto reminder so that you get the link automatically in your email, like an hour before it starts. And that way you can kind of control a little bit more what emails you get. So again, RSVP to as much as possible. You can RSVP to everything you want. If you don't show up, not a problem. We also have a section called Opportunities, and that's actually a public space for all members where you can post about job openings, apprenticeships, anything that you can think of. So if you're hiring, let's say you took DPU Pro and you're like, actually, I would like to hire a personal photo organizer to help me with more of this. Feel free to post that there. If you are an entrepreneur and you're looking for a virtual assistant, feel free to post that there. If you're looking to be an apprentice or learn more about something, you're welcome to post that there. I don't really restrict any of that. So as long as you're in the community, you're okay to post whatever you want there. You could post on behalf of somebody else as well, if you know somebody else is looking for a recommendation, for example. Another new thing for 2025 is we have turned on gamification to have a little bit more fun in our community. So when you engage, when you answer questions, when you ask questions, when you talk to other members, all of that, it measures your activity basically and automatically assigns you points, right? So there are now 9 levels. And you can see I'm only at 7 at this point because I've only just gotten started with this, but I'm going to get to 9, I promise. Whenever you engage in our community, you can click on gamification at the top and you can see sort of where you're at. And what we're going to do at the end of the year is have a drawing for some prizes for our most engaged and helpful members. I just think it'll be fun to get everybody interacting more and, encouraging people to ask questions. I actually prioritize questions and discussions in the community over email because I feel like that's helpful for everybody, because if you have the question, guaranteed somebody else has the same question and they will learn just by reading your question and listening to you and hearing the discussions. So let us know if you don't have to participate, but it'll automatically sort of measure your engagement in our community. If you don't get to at least contributor, then I'd say, well, you don't necessarily probably need to participate in the community. If you get above sort of level 3, then I say you have probably a good chance of winning some cool prizes at the end of the year. So make sure you check on that every now and then. We also have affiliate and partnerships available. A lot of the pros that come into our courses eventually end up as either partners or affiliates recommending our courses or just having some sort of relationship if you're interested in that. Right now, I only have the DPO Pro affiliate information available, but you can always email me and we can talk about that. If you are referring a one-time, uh, person, then the basic referral program is more than enough. But if we are talking about a situation where you want to refer on an ongoing basis, then make sure that you contact me so we can set up like a mutually beneficial partnership there. Okay, let's get to some learning tips. So when you are watching the videos in any course, if you don't see the videos load right away, make sure you refresh. Sometimes it takes a moment to load, but you should see them right away. They should autoplay. So you shouldn't have to really do anything in order to start watching. It should automatically happen. But what I do recommend is that when you're done, you click complete and continue. And that kind of marks where you're at. So you can see that when you click that button, it sort of puts a check mark that you've watched that video. So that's a great way for you to kind of keep track of where you left off. Now, that's not something I monitor. That's not something that I care about on our admin end, but it helps you just keep track of where you're at. And it doesn't prevent you from watching something again. Okay, so that's important to know. You can watch as many times as you want all the videos. There's no limit on any of that. This is just for you to sort of keep track of where you are in your learning journey. And when you're watching the videos, note too that you have playback settings, right? You can pause, you can rewind, you can fast forward at any time. If you hover above the video, you should see all of those controls pop up. And something that I like to do when I just review videos is actually speed it up a little bit. So sometimes I talk a little slow and it takes a moment, right, for all the information to come up. You can increase it to like 1.25 or 1.5, and then the video just goes a little bit faster and saves you a little bit of time there. It also has a little pen. This is something I didn't know for the longest time that I just kind of discovered early last year, that there is a notes section. So if you click on the little pen, you can actually take notes about a particular lesson and actually keep that along with the video. So that's a really cool way to sort of keep track of where you left off and if there's any notes you want to make to yourself. Under each video, you'll find that we post time-stamped scripts. So it has the time stamped of where in the video that discussion happens or the question or whatever it is. And then it has afterwards what was said, right? So for example, if you have submitted a question and you weren't able to attend the call, then you should just be able to scroll to that section in the video and see, and get that question answered basically and kind of see that you can jump right to it. So if you if you, for example, are enrolled in DPO Pro and you have a ton of questions about, organizing photos and you pre-submit those, then I prioritize those and I ask those first, or excuse me, answer those first. And in the timestamp script, you'll be able to see what those questions were and the exact time in the video where I answered that so that you can go directly to that. So that's just another thing that we do to try and make it a little bit more inclusive and helpful for you to get to what you need quickly. You'll also see at the very bottom that anytime we mention a product, service, anything like that that has a link, you'll see everything linked underneath the video as well. New for 2025 too is for DPO Pro now, we have learning roadmaps. And more roadmaps will come for the other courses as well. But for now, DPO Pro is like the heaviest content that we have. So we have 4 different roadmaps now. We have 2 for business owners and 2 for private collections. And so basically what you'll do is you'll say to yourself, well, do I want to get through this course in 3 months or less? Or do I want to take my time and do this over a full year? Okay. And then am I a business owner or am I somebody working on a private collection or my own personal photos? And then based on that, you'll download the roadmap that fits you. And basically it gives you suggestions for what content to watch, in what order, and how to best approach your learning, right? So that you're focusing your attention on exactly where you need to go, right? So those roadmaps have been specifically created for you to, as a suggested learning schedule to make everything as easy as possible. And that would be lesson 1.3 now in DPO Pro in the new version. So you can download those there. And if you don't find it, I can always email it to you as well. If you are in a course that has no group coaching, or if if you have a question, you are welcome to just submit that. Just send an email to support@theswedishorganizer.com, or you can ask in the community. I usually respond fairly quickly. I do ask that it's up to 48 hours. If it's time sensitive, don't worry. Like if it's an offer or something, we'll take care of you. It's not a problem. But every now and then, I'm on the road quite a bit, so I do ask for 48 hours, but I usually respond pretty quickly. But yeah, feel free to email if there's any questions that you have at any point. And if you have access to group coaching for whatever course you're enrolled in, then we have a section in the course that says how to ask for feedback or how to ask questions. And basically what we do is we have a submission process where you can pre-submit your questions. And then they come in through our system and I can put them on the agenda for the upcoming call. And you can do that no matter if you can attend the call or not, right? So regardless, because you'll get that timestamp script underneath the video. So you'll know I'll answer your questions anyway, even if you're not live. In the community, there is the course sections, right? There'll always be a discussion, and that is where you can ask questions in the community. So feel free to create any post like that. It's actually a lot better, like I said, because then we can have a more interactive discussion with everybody. And I guarantee it, if you have a question, somebody else has the same question. So we really encourage you to submit questions there. It's easier for us. You're welcome to tag us if you want our input on something. But yeah, feel free to create a post for each new topic that you bring up. And if you struggle with showing up, if you feel like consistency is sort of holding you back or you're having trouble setting aside the time, make sure to let us know. We can help you with a more customized learning roadmap. And to get you off on the right foot, Sherry Lukey, who is our executive coach, she has created an EFT video for you that you can use to sort of open your higher brain centers to learning a little bit better. So that is in the About section in the community. That's also pinned to the sidebar. So make sure you watch that. Feel free to watch that again and again as you start learning. It helps. And please know that you can do it. No matter what course you're in, learning is always, a big thing. It always takes time. Learning always works. It's just that it works slowly. So you might not notice progress, but believe me, we see the progress. We see sometimes students that come in and like, oh, I don't know anything. And then the questions they ask are so advanced that we have to reflect back to them that, did you know how advanced the question was that you just gave us? Like, of course, you've come a long way, from where you started, but sometimes it's hard to see that. So just know that regardless of, if you're an eager beaver or a time tamer, it doesn't matter. Like, just don't give up. Okay. And if you need help, please let us know. I am really not in the business of selling just for selling's sake. I want people to get results. I'm very passionate about people getting the results that they sign up for. And I want to make sure that I give you as much support as I can within the available resources that we have in order to help you do that. I can't do the work for you, but I can give you a lot of encouragement along the way. So make sure that you definitely don't give up and let us know anytime you need help. Because if you get results, then I get results. That's the best win-win situation for everybody. Okay, so with that, let me stop this so I can see you again. Oh wow, Amy, thank you so much for all the links. See, I don't even have to. This is what happens when you work with the right team. I don't even have to say anything. She's already on it. Um, okay. Let's see. Did I miss any questions, Amy, or do we have any questions? Anybody who wants to jump on and ask anything specific? Does everybody know how to find what they are enrolled in, where to start up again? Any questions at all on that? Because I want to make sure that everybody knows what they're looking for.
I'm so sorry. I think you covered this, and my dogs were going
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Turned around. I'm trying to find the direct link through the community, through my academy to prompt you for the circle
Okay.
sign up, and I was kind of struggling to find it.
I will make a note for me, Amy, to send Isabella. I'll send you a direct email
Okay.
invite. It'll be
Oh,
just,
thank you.
you
I
just
thought
have
that
to
was
click on
another
it.
option in the email, and I was hoping
No,
to
yeah,
avoid getting
don't have to,
special.
don't have to.
Okay.
It should be for anybody else. It should be in the welcome and onboarding emails. It should
Oh,
be in
okay.
the course, but I can always send you, and I'll do that for you, Isabel, because it's just easier and quicker for you,
Okay.
a private invite link, and you just click that and you should be good to go with one click.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah, you bet. I'm super excited. It's Go Month, Get Organized Month for everybody in the productivity industry. So we're all like, go, go, go. And super excited for everybody to sort of, get going and get moving with all of their goals. Any other questions? Terry, Amanda, Giselle, Jen, Renee,
I had a
Regina.
question.
Yes,
I don't know which category I am. I'm probably
that's
I
okay.
you procrastinate because I'm just overwhelmed by even starting because I've inherited also other people's
Yeah.
stuff. So how realistic if you do the DP, because I did just like your free version, no, a $99 version at one time. So I never did the DPO Pro. Is
Mm,
that
yeah. You did DPO
um
Pro Express, I think.
yeah. And so I should probably watch that before jumping in and purchasing something just so I can get my mind a little going again. But how realistic is it really to do 3 months? Like how many hours is that? Because it's, 3 months I'm sick of like saying I'm going to do it as a New Year's
Yeah.
resolution,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, and that's a great question. And it depends slightly on, your incoming level of tech and familiarity with this, right? So the course is written for you to be able to get through and actually do it in 3 months. Um, However, if you've never organized photos before, if you have a lot, I'm assuming DPO Pro is the one that because you talked about DPO Pro Express. I would say, I would probably suggest doing the longer one only because there is so much learning to take in. Can you do it in 3 months? Absolutely. I've had plenty of people who've done it in 3 months, but the people who do it in 3 months tend to be more on the pro side. They're either very advanced tech savvy wise, or they've done a project or two in the past for themselves. So they have a little bit more sort of robust background in it and or they're just super eager as business owners to sort of get started and up and running. So I think it's a combination of things. It's like level of tech skill that you have coming in, experience in the past, and also like how much time you can set aside to it. Because I would say if you're going to do the 3 month one, you're probably looking at an hour or two a day to get a proper like foundation in, because I don't want you to rush through it and then miss like core foundational steps. If you're talking about the year, then it's going to be more like 2-3 hours per week. Does that make sense? So it's more of
Mhm.
it's a slower approach, and it lets the learning sink in better and gives you more time to to reflect on and ask questions and all that.
And then obviously if you're past something, you can give more time and then it'll go a little faster.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
like,
Yeah. So like we have a whole in DPO Pro, there's a whole section on digital basics. Like what is metadata? What is a Mac versus PC? Like all the basics, right? So that everybody can get up to speed no matter where they're starting. But if you already know that stuff, you could skip that section and then you're already ahead. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because you don't need that. Same thing, like if you already know how to deduplicate, you can skip that whole thing because you already know how to do that. If that's new to you, that's going to be a huge scary step. Does that make sense? So it's like a lot of it has to do with the experience level.
So it's an online program then?
Yep. So for DPO Pro, we have 3 levels. We have our self-study, which is basically you purchase in, it's slightly less pricey, right? Because you do it all on your own, completely self-study. The VIP has group coaching. So once a month, we hold these group coaching calls, and you'll join that, and you can talk things out with us and troubleshoot. We can show you things and all of that, right? It also has a few more bonuses and trainings. And then we have a private tier, basically, which gets everything that's in the other 2 tiers, plus you get private time with either me or Amy, or, depending on if you need a little extra help. And we have some folks who do a combination of things because they know that, yeah, I can do a lot on my own, but it's really good to come to the group coaching calls to kind of hear what everybody's doing. And I think everybody here who's a part of the group coaching calls will say that and back me up, that it's actually, you learn a lot just from listening to people and hearing how other people are troubleshooting and solving things. But then too, like we have plenty of people who get to the private tier because they're like, well, I feel like I need to customize more. I have specific questions. I want you to focus just on me. I'm not comfortable in a group setting or whatever it is. So you have that option too for, adding private coaching if you want to. So it's
And the
actually
different prices
better.
and groups are in the academy? Is that it?
Amy, will you drop the link to DPO Pro, the sales page? It's on the sales page. You can see it. Yeah, there's 3 different tiers. In fact, I can show it. It might be easier for me to just show it so everybody can see that's on the call. Here, let me share my, oops. Here we go. Yeah, so if you go to DPO Pro like this, and you scroll down, you'll be able to see the different price levels here and what's included. So you see here we have the self-study and everything that's included. That's at $697. We have the supported VIP, which is at $1297. And what's important for me to note here is that this is not an annual package. It's not a renewal, right? So we do have folks that stay in our community past year 1 because they just enjoy being in that. That's at a smaller, I think it's at $220 right now to stay in active and coming to the coaching calls beyond year 1. So this is a one-time package basically that you purchase, which is the full course plus support for a year. And then that annual support would be the only thing that renews. You've already paid for the course. So even if you decided, after some time that you were done, you're not going to lose access to the course or anything. So you can see here that this one includes the monthly group coaching and the support. And then here on the private tier, you pay a little more, but you also get private calls with a photo organizer to answer your questions. So for a lot of these different programs, we have different levels of support because some people need a lot of help and they know that, oh no, I need Caroline to hold my hand and stay accountable, and meet on an ongoing basis to get stuff done. And other people are like, nah, I got it. I'll call you when I'm done. I can take care, I can watch this myself, I can learn myself and all that. So that's why we have these different levels for, to kind of have something for everybody.
So if I started out with a lower level and then I decided I needed more support.
Yeah, you can upgrade. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And is there a way that, I don't know if you do this, do you have anybody who's like a spokesperson for each one, or somebody who's successfully have gone through different things to see like what they like? Because the actually idea of having, I mean, I've always been wanting to do this. And I said in COVID, like if I don't get my things cleared up now, they're never going to be cleared up.
Yeah.
And then, we had people passing in my family, so that was the priority.
Oh,
But
sorry.
after these firefighted, like these I'm like, I feel so badly for these people, right? We all do. But you just think, gosh, I got to get my stuff together.
I I had 5 friends in LA that lost their homes this
Oh,
past week. So it's been a very heavy week. And I don't want to be that like I told you so person, but it hurts when you see that they've lost everything and you're like, well, I wish I could change that because I knew what needed to happen before, but it's not the time, obviously, for the I
right.
told you so speech or anything like that. But like it's just, yeah, it hurts. And obviously we want to make sure that everybody gets their stuff at least safely backed up, if not organized perfectly, fine, but at least safely backed up, right? So that we can access it again if something happens. And to answer your other question, let me just show you here as well. So what I have here, I've done some interviews with people, and that could be a good place to start. So
Oh, okay.
I did an interview with Valerie, that's on that page as well. So she's in our VIP section and group coaching. And then I did, let's see here. Rebecca is also on the VIP tier. And let's see, there's one more. I think Lynn is on here too. Lisa is on here. She's a pro. And yes, Lynn, she's a private client as well, in the highest tier. So start with those and maybe see some of those, what they have to say, because it's really enlightening and interesting to hear their point of view, where they're coming from. But then, I mean, we have other people as well that we can refer you to that you can talk to about
Okay.
yeah. And I do have a 2-week refund policy on all my courses because like I said, I'm not really interested in holding anybody's money captive. Like if you're not gonna do it, let me know. No problem. You know what I mean? Like I want people to jump in because they want to get stuff done and get the results. And I will, I treat people the way I would want to be treated, I feel like, with all of that. So if something happens, like we'll sort it out. It's not a problem.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see here. Did I miss any questions or I mean in the let's see here.
Yeah, it looks like there might be a typo on the Academy page going over into the community.
Ah, okay. All right. Thank you. Maybe I should, yeah, see, tech issues happen. So bear with us. We're only human after all. I'll fix that. And then, yeah, and if anybody needs a private invite or something like that for the community, just email support at the Swedish Organizer or message me or something, let me know. We'll take care of it. Obviously we want everything to work perfectly all the time, but it's technology and things happen. We all know that. So yeah.
I have a question, just sort of an abstract.
Yeah.
But so I've been starting with the YouTube series that you have,
Yeah.
and I'm really excited, but I got a little stuck when I was trying to do every single step of every single video, and one of them was like gather everything and
Yeah.
organize it, or like kind of get everything in front of you, and that's how we can start kind of gearing up for the next step. And so I have things kind of scattered around, and I know that like I'm going to be moving my studio and my office is going to be shifting, and so it's sort of in like a couple different places. Uh, it, it's sort of related to what we were just talking about, I guess, is sort of like how stuck should I be? Should I kind of like mentally keep something separate and then keep on going with the class? Should I really kind of stop and consider my next steps and like get it all like ready? I don't know. It's sort of again an
Yeah,
abstract
yeah.
question,
No,
and
that's
maybe
that's
individualized. But
no, that's a great question actually, because no, it's a great question. And thank you for bringing that up. Because what I always say to people is that if you can, please watch the entire course one time at least, or even 2 times before you start doing stuff, because it's really helpful for you to have a bird's eye view of the whole process. And that goes for CSA, it goes for the bookend, it goes for the organizing formula that you're watching, goes for DPO Pro. There's so much in organizing that sort of feeds back into the earlier lessons, of like and moves around. So it's really helpful for you to watch it at least once in full and then start doing stuff. However, you can obviously, but the basics, of organizing is consolidation. That's the foundation of organization, right? So consolidation is huge, and that is going to be in any organizing project the biggest step that you have. Consolidation. In fact, we have people coming into DPO Pro that once they're done consolidated, they're like, oh, that's actually all I needed because that is the biggest step. Even like I said, even if you aren't perfectly organized within your system, the fact that the system gets up and running is huge. Like that's a big piece. And the thing with consolidation is that you have to be able to somehow set aside everything in one place. So if I'm hearing that some of your stuff is here, some of your stuff is here, you're not done with consolidation. Does that make sense? And so the key is, depending on what you're consolidating, is to figure out, well, how can I find a place where I can work on this project without it getting intermingled and scattered about? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's the
Yeah.
huge part of that step. So
Okay.
yeah, you have to find a way where you can dedicate a space to that process, if that makes sense. And that's why I say, like, organizing, let's say, your entire house in one day, that's why that doesn't work. That's why people start jumping back and forth between rooms, because it doesn't work. You have to break it down into much smaller increments and do like a section of a room at a time, or a full room at most at a time, because otherwise it's just going to create a lot more mess, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That was really
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah. So watch the whole thing and let it sink
Okay.
in, sort of the process, and
Yeah.
then come back to the consolidation. And then we can take it from there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
because it might take me a few months to like
oh
really
yeah.
consolidate effectively, I was
Oh yeah.
realizing. And so, okay, I'm really glad to know that I should, bird's eye is really important.
Huge.
I will, yeah.
And the
So,
consolidation step in any course you jump into, you'll see that, like, Amy, you'll back me up on this. The consolidation process in every course, whether it's the organizing formula or DPO flow process, in the course for photos, I would say probably people spend at least half their time on just that step. And then the rest is easy because that was the big piece that you have to get through. But once that part's in place, it's like, oh, everything is so much easier. So then the next part's a lot easier to get through. You know what I mean? But that's the heavy piece. And unfortunately, that tends to be where people drop off, if anywhere, because they're like, ooh, I didn't realize it would be so much work there. And I wish
yeah,
it were true that it was, but it's organizing is front heavy, if I can say it that way. It's like it becomes super easy at the end, but the beginning part is like the heavy piece. I wish it was the other way around, but yeah.
cool.
I'm afraid it's not. Yeah. So you just kind of have to stick with that first piece of it and get
No,
through
I'm
it.
excited.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. And let us know what you need to. So if we have anything else that can help you. Um, any other questions? Did I miss
I have two
anybody?
more. Is that okay?
Of course, yeah,
So
absolutely.
the first question is if I was to watch the whole DPO Pro before starting, how many hours is that approximately?
Mhm.
And then if I did it with the social monthly coaching, like does that run out? Is that a year membership or is that just always?
So no, so yeah, so great questions. If you watch the entire DPO Pro course, version 2 was more like, I think, 6, 7 hours. I think the new version 3 that I would want you to start with, it's more like 10, to let it sink in. And I would say, again, taking your time on that, because again, there's different learning curves here. There's learning the organizing process, then there's the tech learning curve, and then there's the photo process. So there's like multiple learning curves that are involved in a lot of these courses. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
then also learning as an adult student with, other responsibilities and business, and family time, and all of that stuff that comes into it. It's a little bit trickier. So I would say a good 10 hours or so, but I wouldn't hurry through that. If anything, the more you can watch it and take your time learning as the first piece of it, I think you'll be better set up to actually do
Okay.
it afterwards, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And then, so when you purchase the first time around, what you're purchasing the course itself, and you're purchasing the first year's worth of support. And then at the very end, if you wanted to renew support, you could do that. Currently, that's $220 per year, just to be able to continue to come to the group coaching calls. But you're not purchasing anything beyond that. The course is already paid for. So the heavy, investment is more in the first year. And we do have people who, are still organized, and done, but they're like, I like to just stay in touch with you guys and stay updated on, because tech changes all the time. We just saw a huge update for Apple Photos, and people like pulling their hair out, like, I don't know how to navigate this new iPhone situation, so it's nice to be able to have that to come back to.
Hmm.
But it's not it's not a requirement. You're welcome to be done after that too. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. Um, Oh, thank you, Corinne. Okay. Any other questions before we wrap up? Super excited to have new faces in our academy. Always let us know if you get stuck somewhere, if you have trouble, if you have questions, you are not bothering us. That's what we're here for. We want to make sure that you get a good experience out of this and that you get like you can squeeze the most out of your investment because like I said, if you have result, I have results. I don't want a bunch of people to buy my course and then not get any results because that doesn't really, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't, I'm a teacher and I'm a coach first. I want people to get the value that they're after and we'll make sure that you get that no matter what you need in terms of support. So yeah, thank you everybody for being here. Hey Amanda, good to see you. I'm gonna post the recording and send out the recording if there's something you need to review, and for those who couldn't be here as well. But we have another onboarding call. I think it's going to be sometime in March. So again, if you're not ready now, if you want to come back and review stuff and ask for more help on those calls and jump in then, that's totally fine too. And if you ever take a pause and do something else for a while and then come back to organizing, like I said, jump into these calls first to refresh your memory on, you know, what's new and updates and how to get, you know, back into it and all that. So yeah, thank you so much everybody for attending. We went a little over, but I hope that's okay. Look forward to seeing you all on coaching calls soon. All right. Bye
Thank you.
everybody. Yeah,
Thanks,
you bet.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.